Right.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. I rise to speak on the social media minimum age bill before us today. Let me say from the outset, Deputy Speaker, I fully support the intent of this legislation, which is to protect our young people from the harms of online bullying, a scourge not only in our society but globally. I'm sick and tired of hearing of another teenager that has taken their life due to online bullying. I'm tired of watching grieving parents plead for action on this serious issue. It is a common belief amongst those of us who have the privilege of being elected to serve that our first duty is the protection of all Australians. Deputy Speaker, my issues with this legislation are, as I said, not around intent, but I do have a problem with the mechanics and the rushed manner it is being rammed through, I suspect for vote-grabbing reasons. Why else would you rush legislation through that doesn't take effect, if passed, until 2026? Could it be that there's an election in the first half of next year? The Leader of the Opposition first announced this coalition policy over 12 months ago, saying we would implement it within 100 days after the election, should we have the privilege of winning government. This government have latched on to the Leader of the Opposition's initiative, but as usual they have done the headline, vibe, whole thing, but haven't thought through the process. In contrast, the coalition has been methodically working through the many inevitable questions that arise from proposed legislation like this. So, should we win the election, a sensible, well-thought methodology that addresses all aspects of the bill, including keeping children safe, as well as parents, social media and device hardware suppliers' roles in this initiative, while also considering protecting Australian citizens' privacy. I was pleased to see that the government agreed to the Coalition's amendment where social media companies cannot force people to upload their digital ID, driver's licence, passport or other government-issued identification to verify their age. This is definitely a step in the right direction. However, I wasn't pleased to discover some of the proposed methodology to age verify users relies on social media companies effectively using data they accumulate on us all through algorithms and the like, determining that someone is under 16 from their posts, or they may have posted something as simple as having a 13th birthday party. The retort to this, of course, is that they already do it, which, by the way, I hate, Deputy Speaker, the fact that they collect all this data on us. But knowing and condoning and even being complicit in encouraging them to use AI to monitor and collect data on us, it's something that I simply cannot in good conscience support. There is also talk of using facial recognition software for age identification. Now, I know about this, but the thought that these companies are catching images with goodness knows what in the background doesn't inspire me with great confidence either. The other issue is that these social media companies can, and I suggest will, simply change algorithms so they begin to miss people's ages, as make no mistake, they will lose revenue and profits if this legislation passes through, as they will enjoy a smaller market and customer base. We haven't even spoken about the parents' roles in this. Why can't we legislate that the manufacturers of devices, that anyone under 16 has to be tethered to their parent's device through their Apple ID, family sharing, iCloud or other forms, so that the parents have the final say in what apps their kids can use? This also removes the financial incentives for social media platforms who, from what I can see, don't currently make the hardware that people use. Deputy Speaker, no solution is a silver bullet, and people always find ways around laws if they really want to. But that's no reason why governments should not pass laws intended to protect people. Otherwise, we might as well have no age limit restrictions on alcohol, tobacco, gambling or movies. We have these laws as we know most Australians are law-abiding citizens and will comply with the laws of the day. By having a legislated age restriction, it also gives parents the added ammunition to say to their kids when they are inevitably asked, nagged or begged to have a social media account, sorry, it's against the law. Sure, there's those that would say, well, that's weak parenting. But not all families or children are the same for a myriad of reasons, and governments must try to consider all family dynamics and personalities when they're legislating, knowing full well that we will never be able to appease everyone or receive everyone's approval, but we must attempt to address the concerns and needs of as many of the population as possible. Deputy Speaker, as a father of 4 and a grandfather of 5, I've got some boys, some girls, some over 16, some under 16. I've seen firsthand the trauma and harm that social media does to our youth. My personal observation has been that once people generally reach an age of 16, in the main, they have the emotional stability and maturity to make better decisions on what they put on social media and what they read on social media. There's exceptions both ways, of course, but this age seems pretty right for most. As I said at the beginning of my contribution, I absolutely support the intent of this bill in protecting and in some cases saving the lives of our young people, but I have reservations due to the rushed manner and the lack of detail or methodology that is currently proposed in enforcing the legislation should it become law. I believe that the lives and the mental health of our youth outweigh any possible implications around privacy. But I would much rather see this legislation be postponed until a full and proper process has been able to be completed where we can actually see the detail of how the ID process will be enforced. It is far too important to be rammed through willy-nilly to try and win a few votes.